So I've got a lot of questions about what Elementalists spec currently to play in World vs. World roaming, especially after the Celestial nerf. Today I want to answer and want to also show what current builds are really good and want to summarize all of them in one video. I'm Summer, and without much further ado, let's jump right in. So I want to start by giving a short disclaimer. I will display the builds that I think are the best currently for roaming. There are of course other builds that are not listed here, and of course this video is only about Elementalist for now. Let me know in the comments if you want to see any other classes covered like this. So let's start by saying the strongest roaming spec for Elementalist is for sure Catalyst. All the builds I will cover in this video are only Catalysts. It's not Tempest, because Tempest is not strong enough. Catalyst is just superior in most circumstances, at least if you're solo roaming. If you're in a group, that might change, then Tempest gets way more value, but we are mostly focused on solo roaming. And Weaver is just a joke at the moment. It's either, if you're some bruiser Weaver, you're just a really bad version of Catalyst, and if you want to do some burst, yes, you can do that. I think burst Weaver is really fun, but it's really, really bad in outnumbered situations. So let's start with the first build I want to show you. So I released a video about the Celestial Signet Catalyst, and a lot of people say that's Celestial and I don't want to play Celestial. And you can play the same build with a slightly altered setup. So you don't go for Celestial, you go for Ritualist gear with Herald Rune, and you have almost the same build with the same trait lines, and it's still really strong. It deals even more condition damage than the Celestial build, but you lose some defense and you lose all the power damage you have. You will also want to run Relic of Estel Ward, and everything else is the same, so Doom and Geomancy. And I would say this is a build for people that don't like to run Celestial, people that don't have access to Celestial, because it might be the hardest gear stat to get. And also it's a slightly higher condition pressure with this build. So I just wanted to share this. I would still say the best build for roaming is even after the nerfs, the Celestial Catalyst build, but still, if you want to do something else, this is it. The second one I want to show is also a Catalyst build, but this time we can run Celestial stats with Traveler Rune, or you could go for Marauder. Both are valid. Celestial is a little bit more defensive, a little bit less damage, but it's still valid to go both of them. It doesn't matter. You want to go with Relic of Rivers and Hammer. That's the part here. You want to go with Hammer, Energy and Cleansing, and you want to go with the typical PvP trait lines, Fire, Arcane, and Catalyst. This is the setup. I won't go over every trait here, just want to show it. And the idea is that you dash out a lot of boons, you deal a lot of melee damage. If you are Marauder, you deal even a lot of burst damage. If you are Celestial, you are a little bit more tanky, but you can also do some condition damage. So there is some trade-off. The biggest weakness of this build is ranged attacks, especially if it's a ranged Condi build, because you don't have that much access to cleanse, and you also then don't have any way of, let's say, dealing range damage. You are melee build, you want to be in the enemy's face, and it's sometimes really hard to stick on them if they're really fast paced. So that's the only weakness. And then I also want to mention that this build can be run with DT, so Dagger, instead of Hammer. Then you trade some of the really strong AoE potential of the Hammer with some more mobility of the Dagger, and also it's a slightly different playstyle from the, let's say, fast-paced playstyle that Dagger is, but it's also really fun and it uses exactly the same setup. Just you can also go for Marauder, but I would say the Dagger variant is even better with Celestial than the Hammer variant. And now to the last really good build I want to share, and that's the Fresh Air Catalyst. You swap fire for air, and you get a lot of super speed access and fresh air. And you also want to swap the stability here for sphere cut specialist if you feel like you can make use out of that. If you feel like you get too much CCs on you and you get CC too much, then you have to swap to this. But with this, you have permanent quickness, permanent fury. It's actually insane how much you can dash out. And you are not running any boon duration except on the rune, which is enough to upkeep the most important boons on you. And Marauder gives you some vitality. You are really squishy. You are range build. You want to go burst someone and then disengage. You are not a typical bruiser. You are really unlikely to win outnumbered situations just because you don't have that much sustain and defense. But if you play it correctly, you can even win those. Just be aware that, of course, if you face someone that is the same skill level as you, you are a burst build, you want to play defensive, you want to play aggressive, and then if you don't succeed, you want to go into defense and disengage. That's the playstyle. You want to go here with the Relic of Fireworks, because it's just the most damage you can get, full Marauder, and then you can go energy, and on the second weapon set, it doesn't really matter what you go here. You can go for crit chance, it's probably the most valuable one, but you can also go for air for even more burst damage. There's a lot of options here. So that's the fresh air build. And like I said, it's a little bit less the typical bruiser playstyle for roaming. It's a really aggressive, fast-paced playstyle. Let me know in the comments if I forgot anything that you really wanted to see here, but I think that covers the best Elementalist builds for roaming right now. I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more build guides or more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.